Hi, I'm Lawrence.
I'm Nick.
Welcome to the Nick and Lawrence Show.
Alright, what are we talking about today?
One day at Disney.
Just one?
Well, there could be a multiple of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can't just have one day at Disney.
Well, yeah, but apparently they've made so I thought nostalgic and looking at stuff. I brought this really cool book that I got at Christmas time that has just all sorts of different pictures and stuff.
Okay.
It's kind of a coffee table book, and so.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Why don't you show it?
Okay. I'll show you. So, One Day at Disney. I guess Disney Plus has a TV show called One Day at Disney as well, and I guess that's.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but so that's based off the TV.
I think so.
Kind of like, is it a series or just like one episode?
I think it's a series of episodes, but yeah. So I brought this book. It just has, all sorts of. It's taken me a while to figure out the whole book. But because at first I was like, well, is there any table of contents in it? But it took me like all these little excerpts and all that to finally get to.
So it's like everybody that works.
Everybody that works in and like this page is really cool because it has pictures from Hollywood to Los Angeles to Minneapolis to Paris and etc. But it took me a while to realize that it just has this long little what do you call it, like little introduction, and then you finally get to the chapters and tells you each chapter, like chapter 1 is midnight to 3 a.m., chapter 2 is 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., chapter 3 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., chapter 4 9 a.m. to noon, chapter 5 is noon to 3, chapter 6 is 3 to 6 p.m., chapter 7 is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and chapter 8 is 9 p.m. to midnight.
So one day.
One day.
One full day.
Which is the explanation of why it's called One Day at Disney, and it kind of just gives you an idea of what people do within one day at the park. And it sounds like, it goes from midnight until the following midnight. And like I said, it's got really cool things. You see a lot of behind the scenes stuff in the book, just things you normally wouldn't see unless you're somebody like me who's stayed. I know a few times I've gone to Disneyland, I've gone and stayed at the park at least until to midnight or 1 in the morning. Okay. Very, very rarely do I ever stay that late, but there's every once in a while I'll go on a trip and I'll just happen to be leaving right as the park closes, and I'm like maybe the last guest out of the park.
Yeah.
Because most people who go to Disneyland will, I think there's like a peak hour of time. I think it's usually like 5 to 9 for like the families, and then some people count like parents who have smaller children will come like early in the morning from like when the park opens at 8, and they'll stay from like 8 until maybe 3 in the afternoon or so.
Yeah. So
there's like different times of the day when people will come.
Well, I noticed that the big majority of people will, they'll come. If they're traveling or they're vacationing, they'll come for the day or a couple days, right?
Right.
But usually, by the end of the day, they leave. A big majority of people leave after the fireworks show. So I think the fireworks show is at like 10 o'clock. Okay. It's like 10 or 10:30. So they have a couple of shows at the park leading up to the fireworks show, and then a lot of people will just start heading out after they see the fireworks, kind of like the last thing that they want to see there. But then you have people that stay, right?
Right.
Some people, the younger people, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so. Some of the younger people. Yes.
Well, in Disneyland, because this isn't just about Disneyland; it's about the whole company, right?
Well, I think that's what it is. I think it's the whole company, but I think that Disney as itself, whether you're at Disneyland Paris or you're at Tokyo or you're at the Magic Kingdom and stuff, I mean, you're pretty much whatever park is your park for Disney. I think that they do the same formula, or they try to, even though there's some that might be different at Disney World versus Paris or other places I've gone and checked out other vlogs, and it's always fun because I know this one guy who does stuff, and it's interesting to watch the difference between Disneyland, Disney World, and the Paris one. Now, I haven't seen any other vloggers who have done like the Tokyo, but it seems like if anybody's going to the 3 parks that are in our world, it's Paris, the Florida one, and then our own Anaheim one here in California.
Yeah.
So, but it seems like those have been like what everybody talks about social media wise is that they talk about those three parks as being, but it seems like when you look at it, you're like, oh, the formula doesn't change
Right.
too much between those three. I mean, theoretically speaking, we have the Anaheim and the Paris one have a very similar, and what I've noticed and seen pictures and all that stuff, I've seen a very similar format of how the park is laid out. I mean, it's different, but like you have the same structure, and then you have like the same castles in both parks, even though one is a miniature studio castle and the other one really is a real castle with functioning works and stuff. But yeah, I've just been like really impressed that those two parks seem to have very similar I can't even say the features and stuff, the themes in their lands and everything. I started really I've been looking into the names for certain things, and of the Paris version, because I got into that more recently, just exploring it through the book, and then just be like, oh, this is cool here and here, and then of course like I've watched the Imagineering story that's on Disney Plus, which is really a cool thing to watch on Disney Plus. It gives a really good history of what Walt was doing, and then what they brought and what did and didn't work throughout the parks and stuff. Yeah. And now I want to be like, oh, now I want to go for. Nick.
Yeah.
No, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. No, just after watching some of the stuff that's on Disney Plus and looking at this book, I really want to go and like travel and check out the other Disney parks.
Yeah.
Because it's starting to sound a little cooler, and like I said, same format.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think because they learned a lot from Disneyland opening, first, and then they created a formula for a theme park really unique like Disneyland, and just kind of copied it, modified it for the cultures, and they stuck to what works. So
yeah, I think this is in this book. There's a lot of behind the scenes people. I think it's almost when I look at this book, I'm like thinking
every page is a person.
Every page is a person that had something to do with the park.
Yeah, there's a lot of people involved.
I mean, this was a Christmas present. I was still, I still haven't gotten. Gotten through the whole book to really look and see, but this is where I thought, it'd be a first time to show it. I think my parents had gotten it from Disneyland at Christmas time, so it was really cool. Really cool. Just a look at some of the pictures and stuff. It's like you go and look at the book, and it's like you see a page like this, and you see the wonderful dessert.
Yeah.
I mean, you just want to jump into our vlog and
that's something that because that one specifically is featuring a person, I guess a cast member. Or she's a pastry chef
and hometown from Paris, France.
Yeah, at the Disneyland Paris. So that's something that's probably unique. When I was there, I noticed that, speaking of food, when I went to Disneyland Paris, a lot of pretty much they had some American food on the menus, like hamburgers, hot dogs, stuff like that, but they had probably every restaurant had some kind of fish, like a fish option, and it was interesting. So I thought that was cool. So you'll find that at different parks, right? Right.
It's interesting that this person likes the same favorite movie that I like, which says Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. That is my...
Not Ratatouille?
No, I think Beauty and the Beast actually fits more with, well, I guess both in a way.
Because they're both France, yeah.
They're both
Ratatouille is Paris, but Beauty and the Beast is the countryside.
Right.
French countryside, where none of them spoke French or had French accents.
Oui, monsieur.
Yeah. So,
comment allez-vous?
Did you, not
to get you off.
Not to go off track here, but I think it's always funny that all of the characters in Beauty and the Beast speak very good English accents, except for the inanimate objects in the castle. So all of the servants and stuff who are now objects, they all have French accents.
Well, Lumiere definitely had a French accent.
But not the prince, and not Belle, and
Well, I mean, you got to remember the prince was under a spell anyway. He was a beast, so he probably lost his French accent through the.
Sure, we'll say that.
Yeah. So
well, I mean, geez, we could spend hours going through this whole thing.
We could go, I mean, but I like the idea that they really made it into with all the people and just countless and countless
people do. And not just the parks, but they had like they had the cruise ship and they have.
Well, I know one person that's in here. I think she was at the beginning of the book, or what's her name? But somebody who had worked for Good Morning America. I was really surprised when I said, "Oh, here's this anchor for a news program," and at the same time she. I guess maybe had some experience with Disney. Well, I know that ABC,
Pause. Ginger, you want to go out there? Come on. Ginger. Here. There you go. Okay. This will go back to that news anchor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but ABC is actually the network of ABC for anybody, because it's just your average channel. So ABC is owned by Disney anyway.
Well, I heard that. I haven't watched the show, but they feature her on the Disney Plus show also, and it's kind of out of place, just because. She's not really a part of Disney. Yeah,
but I mean,
even though they own it, they own ABC.
Like I said, ABC.
She's not really a cast member.
So
I don't know. It doesn't quite fit into my opinion.
It's kind of an interesting thing when you think about you have everything on ABC, and that not everything is Disney, but because Disney has bought out that particular network.
A lot of the series are Disney now. I mean. The Bachelor's not,
right.
But like Once Upon a Time
right.
is kind of a Disney show on ABC. And
it's like what's nostalgic and what's now, and what is and what isn't.
Yeah.
What does Disney pull within the strings of a network that they've, across our whole country, and it's a channel that you could, back when we were kids we had rabbit ears, so now it's all part of cable or streaming or whatever, so you have to figure out how does that whole thing with Disney and what do they negotiate when they, pull out your, an antenna station that was, it could be Sacramento like for us, or it could be in Pittsburgh or wherever. It's just your local station, and but it's under the ABC network.
Mm-hmm.
So I just find it interesting that Disney has bought ABC.
Well, Disney's owned ABC for a long time.
I think they have. They partnered with. Well, Walt partnered in the 50s when he started with his TV show.
He needed money.
Of course, when the money ran out, or ABC they wanted nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
He switched over to NBC until his death.
Yeah.
But in the mid to late 50s, Disney was working through ABC, and then after his death in 66, and going forward,
and then they bought them.
Yeah,
you can still get ABC over the rabbit ears. It's on channel 10 here in our area, but I don't really watch TV, so I don't know.
Not enough time in the day. Not even one day at Disney.
One day at Disney is enough. Yeah, everybody's busy.
Everybody's busy. They don't have time for one day at Disney. Yeah. That's what we were saying earlier.
I'd rather spend one day at Disney, than do anything. So, well, let's wrap up since we could probably do a couple other episodes on this, but
we might come back and look more into this book. Or
what tell me one thing from the book that you like the most. What's one of your favorite things, just from what you've gone through so far? Any stories?
I don't know if I can pick one. I think it's
what's something interesting that somebody does?
Well, I think it's interesting to see and this is only because I've seen some of the behind the scenes when I've gone even to Disneyland. I think I'm sure out of this book there would be somebody who works at Disneyland that would be in this book, and I think it's just seeing all the behind the scenes of things that most people wouldn't see on their visit, because they're so busy. They get to the park, they spend 3 or 4 days there, and they're so exhausted by the end of the trip. But for me, I've been to Disneyland enough times that I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. Or I'll run into a cast member who might know something, and I think it's just seeing the different stories. There's the guy who worked for Pixar. I don't think he's in the book, but was one of there's a story that he used to work for on the Jungle Cruise and he was a park attendant. He was sweeping up the mess and stuff off the streets of Disneyland and stuff. But he told of like, you know, jokes that you could hear like on the Jungle Cruise ride, and that every time you ride the Jungle Cruise, it's completely different and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, I hear stories from the Walt Disney Treasure. I hear stories in this book, and this book kind of is kind of the same and stuff. But it's nice to see this book. I could actually enjoy this and enjoy the show on Disney Plus.
Yeah, sure.
Which, I mean, it's pretty much the same content. So if you, I like the old days of reading.
Yeah.
Of reading, so this makes. I mean, I like both having the streaming service plus. I like having this book, but I think both are great.
All right, well, that's our producer telling us to wrap it up. So, on that note, on that cat meow, we will wrap it up for today. So,
well, I'm Lawrence.
I'm Nick, and this has been One Day at the Nick and Lawrence Show.
And One Day at Disney.
So, until next time.
I'm Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm Nick. Make sure to subscribe to our. Yeah, don't forget.
Channel.
Tell everybody.
We get so quick on wrapping up on time, but we do ask you to
put a string around your finger.
String around the finger, but click the bell.
Yep.
And
leave us a comment. Tell us if you like Onyx. If you want him to be in the video next time. He's telling us we got to go. But
so ring the bell, like this, subscribe, check our Instagram page.
Yep.
We always put really cool stuff on our Instagram page when we're not posting videos and stuff. So we'll see you next time.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Alex, what are you doing?